In 1998, Hurricane Mitch claimed thousands of lives across South America. In 2001, the coffee crisis devastated the Nicaraguan economy. Across the globe, another natural disaster destroyed homes and livelihoods in Sri Lanka during the Boxing Day tsunami of 2004. Nightmares on a global scale gave birth to a dream in Wales to support the lives of those in need, bringing hope and healing worldwide. The New Hope charity shop in Llantwit Major grew from the desire of one couple to help those suffering overseas.
One more item, we just bring it up and put it into store.
Gordon Taylor visited Nicaragua for the first time after Hurricane Mitch, one of the deadliest hurricanes in recent history, had killed over 12,000 people in South America. Nearly half of the victims were Nicaraguans.
I was a member of the local Baptist church around the corner. When it came on the news that there was this horrendous disaster and thousands of people got drowned in a mudslide, I more or less made a commitment that I would go as a former building contractor to go and help to rebuild the country.
Blessed assurance.
Gordon has been back twice a year ever since, and he and his wife Heather decided that their mission was to help one of the poorest communities in the Western Hemisphere.
We're both Christians, and we've been led to follow Christ and to go by his leading. And he has led us down some very strange paths, and things have happened that I would never have believed would happen.
Heather, who manages the New Hope charity shop, believes the unexpected financial help was a divine sign.
He was a lady that lived in this area. At Hopes, she was a state nurse and she wanted to retire at the age of 60 and go and work on the Mercy ships. Sadly, she had cancer which wasn't curable and eventually she died.
Most of her possessions were left to the Taylors to start the New Hope shop. One of the charity's latest projects is to encourage communication between the local primary school and the school New Hope is building for the village of Llantwit Major.
Has anybody heard of the New Hope charity shop in Llantwit Major? Yeah, put your hands up. There we go. Has anyone heard of Nicaragua? Well, it's a place that's very, very far away in Central America, and it goes to help poor communities that are over there with things like water, the environment, and schools as well.
And what we're hoping to do...
Gordon hopes to create a web page where children divided by culture, language and living conditions can learn more about each other.
Do they have much food up there?
Much food?
Do they have any food there?
Yes.
Much food?
Yes, yeah. It's not that poor. If I can tell you a little bit about the area where this school is built, it's in a volcanic area of Nicaragua, and when I went up there the first time, there's no road up there at all. And I went up on a horse, and it's up and up and up and up mountains, about 2.5 hours on a horseback. And the people there would have to walk down to the village at least 2.5 to 3 hours every day to give them enough water for that day.
Llantwit lies on volcanic terrain to the west of Nicaragua. The population here has struggled for years without the basic amenities, such as drinking water. But thanks to the commitment of New Hope and their partners on the ground, the school in Llantwit, linked to the school in Llantwit Major, is now complete. Today, the building has become a valuable meeting place for social events, as well as a place for study. Gordon and Heather are Christians and are always welcome at Pastor Gerwin's church in Barry. So the first logical step was to look at the possibility of working with the local Christian community in Nicaragua. Today, Nicaraguan pastors are working hand in hand to improve living conditions here. Their first challenge was to install a special system to the roofs of buildings so rainwater could be collected, providing clean water for the whole community. Despite financial help from donors to buy the necessary equipment, transporting it all to this remote part of the world was up to New Hope.
Sometimes when large organisations donate money, they'll do it specifically for just a project. They would supply water, they would supply the stuff to build water tanks, but they wouldn't help with getting there, building a road and getting up. So we do those sort of things.
The bulk of New Hope's work on the ground in Nicaragua is delivered by its partner organisation Nuevas Esperanzas, which means New Hope in Spanish. The organisation is run by Andrew Longley, who's working in the field all year round.
What we've done here is to really expand technology which they were already using, which is to catch rainwater from their roofs. Previously they were just doing this on a bit of an ad hoc basis into barrels or what was available. And what we've done is to help them build a large water storage tank like the one behind me, which is able to store enough water to last them through the dry season.
Now many people in El Ocachal and the surrounding area can use the communal tanks. Individual families have also begun building their own tanks, although this poses new challenges. Not all of the houses, with their palm roofs, are strong enough to support the rainwater harvesting system.
Entonces yo por nada pierdo el tanque, pues, porque aquí no hay condiciones para hacer el tanque. Entonces tenía ahí unos centavos, entonces yo comencé a construir mi casa y le digo yo, entonces me va a esperar, le digo yo, para mientras yo construyo la casa y después seguimos haciendo el tanque. Ok, me dice, haga su casa usted, me dice, y después construimos su tanque. Entonces yo comencé a hacer mi casa con un hermano mío, le decimos pues, aquí hay esa casita humilde, pero ahí gracias a Dios ahí estoy en esa. Y después cuando ya terminé de construir la casa, comencé a andar trabajando, a hacer el tanque ya.
As well as helping provide water supplies to people in Nicaragua, New Hope intervened when thousands were left with inadequate housing following the coffee crisis of 2001. Working with Nuevas Esperanzas, New Hope took the first steps to build proper homes for people left with virtually nothing.
Our work started here 5 years ago, coincided with the start of our charity shops in Llantwit Major, and we came out here and made our first donation, and the work has gradually progressed. It's been a really hard battle, but we thank the Lord we're through in the end.
The New Hope charity shop has raised an enormous amount of money to help people all over the world. But what does Gordon get out of it himself?
Satisfaction of when we got up there in that vehicle for the first time and to see the people's faces. People have given me gifts for my love of the people of Nicaragua. Some gifts may be an empty melon skin that they've decorated and given me.
Heather can't travel for medical reasons and has never been to Nicaragua. But since the Taylor's home has welcomed so many guests from the country, it seems that the world is coming to her.
I had the feeling, although they were very tactful and didn't say anything, that they were amazed at the material possessions that most people have in this country. In particular, perhaps the clothes and shoes and just generally in the house, all the possessions that people have. And what we take for granted as necessities, they would consider as amazing luxuries.
I would talk to somebody at least once a week, but when I go to a city called Bluefields, it's very often like me going home and I feel completely accepted.
While El Ocachal lies to the west of Nicaragua, Bluefields is a city on the country's eastern coast. This major Caribbean port is also a renowned centre for drug trafficking and prostitution. In the suburbs, whole families work on rubbish tips, struggling to survive. Gordon's work started here by providing help for people living in appalling conditions. In cooperation with other charities and local pastors, they built the clinic at La Barra. This was how Tamil fishermen used to feed their families until Christmas of 2004. Then the tsunami came, devastating the area. Many were left homeless and without boats with which they could earn their living.
I think the tsunami was one of the worst disasters going back a couple of years that touched people's hearts. Now, unfortunately, there's disaster after disaster and they don't have the same impact. And we felt that we could support it, but there was a lot of perhaps people in the town that didn't trust the major banks, and they would come here with their money. Heather and I went out with buckets around the town. One of the local pubs gave us over £1,000, and we had best part of, I think, about £14,000 off the cup. And we went out to Sri Lanka with 3 fishing boats.
The northern community suffered more than most because of the history of civil conflict here. When no one else was prepared to help those on the Tamil coast, New Hope intervened and delivered the first fishing boats to the area.
Obviously in the Tamil area there'd been lots of problems between the insurgents and the government, and aid didn't seem to be getting through to that area. And I think we come up against a few problems, and we feel that if we hadn't gone, the boats may not have been delivered.
We basically follow the example of Jesus
நாங்கள் ஆண்டவராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்துவினுடைய வழியை நாங்கள் பின்பற்றுகிறோம்.
in bringing hope and healing to the world's poor.
அதாவது உலகத்தில் இருக்கிறதான ஏழைகளுக்கும்.
This experience has only cemented Gordon's belief that help is needed, especially where the larger charities don't reach.
Gordon, you've caught the first fish.
Well, we thought it was going to be tomorrow, but praise God, we've had one right away. Thank you.
Where we are working, we're not as giving aid handouts. We are helping people to make a living themselves. So working in the rural areas, we're achieving more.
But how does Gordon, who's travelled over 3 different continents for the last 12 years, communicate with the locals without speaking a word of Spanish?
I think we were just chatting away. Goodness knows what we were saying, but it all seemed to work out. You know, the little girl, I don't know her name, but her eyes are absolutely beautiful. And I can look at her eyes and it makes it all worthwhile.
I've just get by, because all the workers, as I said, in one part of the country in Bluefields get by with English all the time. So when I'm with Andrew, there's always someone. So we don't have a problem. But everybody else has to speak Spanish, because Andrew runs the office, runs everything in Spanish.
Gordon, who's now over 70 years old, has taken on many volunteers who are prepared to live overseas. This is his way to assure that when he and Heather retire, the work goes on. Apart from Andrew in Nicaragua, there's Holly and Megan who work in the charity shop.
We normally fill up the shop, stock the shop with stuff that we have in, and then we maybe rotate or fill up the book.
I find the work really rewarding. It's, you know, I never gave it much thought at all. You know, I just thought it was another charity, donate. But now it's like more than a charity now. It's like you're involved. It's a part of you now. I've got a thirst for it now. I really enjoy what I'm doing.
They and the committed body of trustees help ensure the place of the charity at home as well as overseas.
I think it has an excellent reputation, and I think it's been very well supported by local people, as they see it's a practical way of giving something local but also has a worldwide impact.
2 of the charity's volunteers, girls called Emily and Kate, who were pupils at Llantwit Major Comprehensive School, are putting together a brochure as part of their Duke of Edinburgh award scheme.
When I first got to Nicaragua, it was quite a culture shock to me, to be so distant from water, amenities, you know, basic living tools really. What really got me is the happiness they had, you know, the joy inside. They were really friendly people, and it just changed me. I think it's so easy for us to go to a developing world and for our ideas on what they want, what we think they want. But I think it's important to sit down and discuss with the people, the families. You're not doing what you want to do, you're just helping them what they want to do.
The sustainability element of things, whereby we're not just going in and putting in and giving them some money and then walking away. This is a continual involvement, and that is really the only proper way to do this. We have various projects, principally one for keeping bees, and I have a wonderful feeling that this is something that will grow and grow and grow, and that's why I want to go out there and see the results of the work that we're doing.
The most recent project to have started is the beekeeping project at Llantwit Major, the community that lives on the side of the volcano, Volcan Telika. African bees have been introduced to their hives, and they've just started to produce honey. This will not only nourish the community, but in the future it should provide a cash crop that can be sold nearby.
Al entrar a la comunidad para mí fue algo diferente a los demás trabajos que yo había hecho. Y ahora se volvió ya realmente personal contribuir al trabajo de la apicultura, porque lleva lo que es medio ambiente, que es algo para mí, pues parte de mi vida, trabajar con el medio ambiente, y esta comunidad me está brindando la oportunidad de mezclar lo que es mi trabajo con una lucha personal.
Para nosotros aquí en la comunidad ha sido maravilloso. Ya tenemos agua en la casa y tenemos trabajo para toda, yo creo, la eternidad que vivamos aquí en la tierra nosotros.
Bueno, que han sido excelente y lo mejor, creo.
Cambio del terreno, que ya no vamos a necesitar estar trabajando mucho en las tierras para sacarle provecho. Ya con la apicultura que le tenemos ahora, ya más bien en vista de quitarle los árboles, más bien se los vamos a plantar los que los den floración.
Helping Nicaraguans find ways to help themselves is at the heart of Gordon and Heather's mission to build sustainable communities, whether this is by producing fair trade honey or coffee, Nicaraguans' most famous export.
One of God's miracles again, there was, this lady is Celtina, who we have a great bond with, and she was able to buy that land for peace and hope very, very cheaply off an American. We were left with a derelict coffee farm which has now been brought back into producing fair trade coffee.
Today the farm employs many local people and supplies locally grown organic coffee to the local and international markets. Celtina, who originally found this land for peace and hope, is running a safe house near to the farm.
She's a very powerful lady, and she says she doesn't mind where she gets the money from because she will use it on a safe house for the children.
Celtina used to work with homeless children in Bluefields, so she knows from experience how many of them never manage to escape the trap of poverty and abuse. She decided to provide a better life for them by building this safe house.
I bought some land. A friend of mine gave me money to buy a small land to make a building. So in this time I can have only, 5 or 6 children. But in the future I hope to have more. So for example, Isabel, who is the girl I have from Bluefield. If she is in Bluefield, her sister is like a prostitute. If we don't help now, when they are children, we can stop them when they are going to be like a man, really bad people. And so I say, we can do something now. This is the time, because they are small. They can grow up with God.
Celtina is now married to Misael, who also works with her, and they have a son called Patrick.
Eres tú, mi amigo fiel, mi sanador, mi salvador. Es Jesús, mi protector, a quien mi salvador. Es Jesús, mi protector.
It's not that we go there, do something and leave, because it's their livelihood at the end of the day. We're trying to build for their future.
Es Jesús, mi protector, a quien yo siempre clamaré. mi protector, a quien yo siempre clamaré.
As Christians, there are brothers and sisters, and I think we just, in our hearts, we just go out to them because they are such lovely people. They're so friendly, and they just can't do enough for you.
I'm so looking forward to going out and meeting the people that I have heard about and being part of that family, and that really is the most important thing to me.
I suppose I'm a person who always like a challenge, and we felt that God would bless us if we made that movement. We were new Christians, we weren't Christians for long, and perhaps sometimes a little bolder than people who've been Christians for many, many years.
Africa seems to be oversubscribed too, and perhaps even some of the European countries, whereas Nicaragua has been totally neglected over the years. We just do what we can.
Eres el Cordero que con su sangre me limpió, y por eso te alabo y por eso te canto, Señor. Tú eres el Cordero que con su sangre me limpió, y por eso te alabo y por eso te canto, Señor. Eres tú, mi amigo fiel, mi sanador, mi salvador, es Jesús.